One of the students who attended one of my courses on leverage buyout and leverage financing of businesses was a gentleman by the name of Terry Gordy. That name may or may not be familiar to people, but his dad is Barry Gordy, and Barry Gordy was the founder of Motown, which is a record company that most people know. Terry and I worked on a number of different projects together. And at one point, he came upon this concept that had just been completed by someone else in the industry, where they securitized the royalties, the publishing rights, and the royalty streams of musicians or writers that had significant royalty income. And one of the individuals had just securitized his whole portfolio of publishing rights, and they wrote a $10 million bond in order to raise the $10 million. And then the bond was paid off by the royalty stream. So over 10 years, the royalty stream produced enough income to fully pay off the loan of $10 million. So he gets the $10 million. His royalty rights are now assigned to pay off the bond. And at the end of the 10 years, he gets his royalties back. He still owns them, but it's all been paid off by the income stream. And what that did is it gave him $10 million immediately instead of having to wait for all the royalty income to come in. He got the $10 million immediately. And then there were things that he wanted to do with that, which interestingly enough was to buy out one of his partners. Okay. So that's what caused that one transaction. Kerry heard about this and he came to me and he says, this is fantastic. There are so many people in the music industry that have these big royalty streams and they are hungry for cash like right now. Can we securitize other people's royalty rights? And I said, of course. And we did the research. We found out exactly how that was done. And then Kerry and I formed a partnership to go to all of the folks who had these publishing rights in the music business and to securitize their royalty streams. So the division of labor was Kerry took on the responsibility of introducing me to all of his incredible contacts in the music business who own the publishing rights. And being a Gordy, he can get anybody in the music industry on the phone immediately. They all take his call. The president of Sony takes his call. The president of all of the big record labels take his call. And so we can get to anybody. So he's introducing me to everybody who's anybody in the industry. I'm explaining securitization to them. We have a team who puts together all the parts to it, but then we have to have money, right? Big amounts of capital to fund all of these securitizations. We made a deal with Lehman Brothers, who gave us a $500 million line of credit. So that what we would do is we would then underwrite the music royalties. They would approve everything. That built up a portfolio of all of these publishing rights. And then they would take and use that to create a bond. And then the bond was sold to an insurance company for X amount of dollars. And that's what brought in the money for all of that, but was underwritten by Lehman Brothers. So we didn't put up a dime to make any of that happen. We took his skill set and access to the music industry, my knowledge of finance and connections in the finance world. And so between the two of us, we had Lehman Brothers backing us with all the money, and we were able to do the securitizations in the music industry. And it was one of my very successful projects. And it was because I had great partners with a great product that really made a difference in the lives of everybody who was a publisher and needed that money. It can be replicated in any industry where there's a revenue stream that has a relative degree of certainty to it. Now, the beauty of the music industry is you can tell from the history of a song how much revenue it brings in. Okay. So there's not a lot of mystery to that. Excuse me. And there's enough statistics in the music industry to know how long that music will last, how much revenue it's likely to bring in the future. So it's predictable. But you can do something similar, for example, if you're in the real estate business, okay? And let's say you're selling homes and you're taking back second liens on some of the homes yourself. So now you've got these notes and you've got all this revenue coming in, but those notes are not secure first. They're not first liens on the real estate. Some lender has that. So they're not really very liquid in terms of your ability to get money in chunks out of your second liens. In other words, you're stuck holding them for a period of time. Because those are statistically sensible, you can tell what they're going to do. In other words, they're not all going to pay 100%, but if you have a portfolio of them, you can pretty much project out how many of them will fail over what period of time and how much money you can get in over that period of time. And that becomes a securitizable portfolio of second liens or seller liens. So that's just one example, but you really need to look at industries individually and look at what's going to create a cash flow for you in the future and how can it be evaluated so that you can demonstrate it has a predictable payoff in the future. And that way we can take things that aren't liquid and convert them into cash right away.